Many years ago, I went to Mendocino in California. I don't know if anybody's been there. It's so beautiful there. Yeah, I see a few heads nodding. Um, and we were at the shore, and we were kind of on this, like a little bit of a cliff overlooking the ocean. And there was this really narrow, and by narrow, I mean, it was like this wide. It was as wide as my body, maybe a teeny bit wider. The path to walk was, narrow. And it was literally like a little narrow bridge to a bigger area that was like a little outcropping and the sheer drop on either side was just way intense, like, I don't know, a far away, far enough to die if you fell, and, crashing ocean below you. And I sat there and I was like, am I going to walk over this bridge? Am I not going to walk over this little dirt bridge? And of course, fear rose within me. And what I remember most about that moment, and I'm sure you've all had this experience at different times when you've had to really concentrate on something, everything falls away, other than what you're faced with in that moment. And I think a lot of things that are happening in the world right now, we're kind of faced with this sense of uncertainty. What's going to happen? And the projecting into the future doesn't really do us much good. The looking into the past can help, can kind of guide us to what we've done wrong and what we need to do to change. But really, ultimately, when we're sitting in a sense of uncertainty, we really bring ourselves into this moment. Clearly, we have to stay present in this moment at hand. And I'm sure you have noticed this over the last few months, that the capacity when you get overwhelmed to come back into this moment, I hope, is heightening. I hope this is one of the gifts that are coming from all the challenges that we're facing, that the ability to bring yourself into the moment instead of the projection into the future, the unknown future, the uncertain future. Because it is so overwhelming, what we're dealing with is so, really, like our social constructs are falling down, our, relationships are completely changed by the pandemic. There's just so much when you really sit and think about it that we are coping with. And in order to deal with that uncertainty, I think one of the best things you can do is just bring yourself over and over again into the moment right now. So think about, a river crossing that you've done on a log, hiking, or some other task, a physical task perhaps, or maybe a mental task, where really there was nothing for it other than to just concentrate and be in the present moment that you're in to get you through something. And we all have times in our lives that we've done this. And think about that, and think about what it felt like to be so deeply, fully present in the moment that almost like your survival depended on it. And what gift came from that? What gift came from being able to stay so focused and present? So our yoga practice is not as dire as, am I going to fall off a cliff, right? Like, we don't have that when we're on our mat. Sometimes we might feel like that when we're bouncing, right? Like, I'm going to fall down, but it's a gift. Our practice is a gift. So I invite you into your practice that it can become a tool that you cultivate to help you be present, to help you be in your body and to be in this moment. And the more we can cultivate it when we're not stressed, when, you're just going about your day, the more we have access to it when we really need it. So building a high tolerance for sitting in uncertainty, like having a wide bandwidth for being able to cope with the stress of uncertainty is a really important thing to develop. I was talking to a pediatrician yesterday, one of my clients, who said that the anxiety and depression in children, teens on down these days, is just skyrocketing. And, we need to learn tools to cope with the amount of stress that's happening. So I hope your practice is that for you. And I hope you also think beyond your practice that, are there ways? Do you take fasts from your devices? Do you sleep enough? Do you eat well? Are you laughing? Do you have connection, even if it's over Zoom? Are you able to cultivate the things that help you have resiliency and an increased bandwidth for being able to cope with uncertainty? So think about that as we begin our practice. What are your tools besides your yoga practice? Of course, you're here doing yoga, so that's one of your practices. But what other practices do you have to help you increase your bandwidth for stress. So let's close our eyes and come in to a seated posture. And let yourself drop into the body. Think about a time when you really had to be in your body, that your balance depended on it, your focus was required to mind, body, spirit, and see if you can bring that into your body now, okay, into your mind now. Can you come into a place where you're here? So find the breath. Take stock and notice, how is your anxiety level? How is your coping level today? How is your fatigue level around everything that the challenges that are in your life? Are you feeling resilient? Are you feeling capable of facing the challenges? Or do you need a little bit of a step back, a little bit of a nourishment to build that resiliency up? Can you drop into the weight of your lower body, your legs, your pelvis? Can you notice the breath? Is there space to breathe in your belly? Is your diaphragm free enough to move? What's happening in your shoulders? Are they creeping toward your ears? Are you trying to breathe with your shoulders? Can you breathe lower in the body? Are your exhales slow and steady? Can you melt through your eyes? Can you relax through your skull? Where are your pockets of tension that you tend to hold on to? Can you go there and bring your breath like a healing balm? And if you do find that you struggle with anxiety, and if you get those heart palpitations, that physical feeling of anxiety in your body, how it shows up for you, perhaps try a longer exhale. And that might mean that you need to breathe out through some pursed lips. That's okay. So however the tools are that you gain that help you to slow the heart rate down, to slow the breath down. When you exhale, can you give the breath over to the earth? Can you feel held by the earth? Place your palms at your heart and bow in. Offer an intention. What's here for you today? And let's relax the hands and come onto our back. So if you do struggle with anxiety and uncertainty and stress and strain, and I don't know who doesn't struggle with one of those things, let's welcome ourselves home into your body. So give yourself permission to stay in these moments in your practice, in your body, instead of, the to-do list that you can pick back up in a little while. Stretch your arms overhead, invite some movement. So left side, right side, enjoy, and always adjust. If your arms need to be in a different place, if your back needs a little less movement, you just always decide what's best for you in any movement that we're doing. There's no rules that you must do a yoga pose. There's no rules that you have to look a certain way. So listen to the sensations of the body as you're cueing. Listen to the breath as you're cueing. Bring your knees into your chest and rock around a little bit. Okay, let's sway from side to side. Okay, back and forth. Let your whole torso sway side to side instead of just your pelvis. You can rock toward one shoulder, toward the other shoulder. Just imagine you're like a little boat bobbling on the sea. And then relax your spine. Circle the knees, going one direction a few times, moving in the other direction a few times. So do 2 or 3 each way. And then knees into the chest and open your hips out, knees apart, bring your knees back in. So swing and sway through your hip joints, however the movement feels comfortable for you. And then bring your right knee into the chest. The left leg stretches long on the floor. Wiggle out the toes. Feel a sense of expansion through your chest. And let's go the other direction. Stretch your knee into your chest, right leg long on the floor. For each breath that's new, see what it feels like to invite something new in. I know, for some of you, I think Rosh Hashanah begins tonight, so it's the beginning of the new year. What kind of newness are you inviting in? Now let's switch sides. So going a little back and forth, back and forth. Can you celebrate what's working in your body right now? Can you enjoy some of the happy factor? Okay, so part of dealing with stress is also feeling the joy, celebrating what's new, what's beginning, what's good, gratitude. Okay, just keep going back and forth, engaging your core a little bit as you go into one knee and then the next knee. All right, left knee into the chest, roll out your ankles, wiggle out your toes, give it a good squeeze. Right knee into the chest, roll out your feet. And just notice if your hip flexors are a little bit more alive and a little bit more awake. Interlace your hands behind your hamstring and press your thigh bone into your hands. Stretch your foot up, toes down, heel up, extend the spine. As you feel the femur bone move into the fingers, find the length of your spine growing upward. Breathing deeply. All right, and then switch sides. Interlace your hands the other way, so go the weird way. Hands behind the knee or the hamstring somewhere. Stretch your femur bone into your hands. Feel the little gap under your back when you do that. Flex your toes, lift your heel, extend the spine. Celebrate the breath. Give it a good go. Deep inhale, deep exhale. Enjoy the ease of your breathing, especially with all the fires we've had. So all the smoke, see what it feels like to enjoy a breath. All right, let's put our feet down onto the ground. Take your feet wider than your hips and sway them from side to side. So you can move this slowly or quickly. What is your body in the mood for today? Do you want to move fast? Do you want to move slow? Follow the impulses. Join the arms into the action. They can go in opposition to stretch away from the knees. All right, and then the arms and legs wide on the floor. Open yourselves up and then exhale, knees into the chest. Give yourself a good hug. Inhale, getting big and wide. Exhale, drawing it in. Let's do that one more time. Spread out your arms and legs. Exhale, draw the knees and chest in. And then roll over onto your side and come up onto your hands and your knees. So finding some cat-cows, feeling the length of your spine as you move. Okay, so arching the back, still spacious through the vertebrae, rounding the spine, still spacious. Take your time to notice, how are you moving? What's easy? And then feel free to swirl around. You can move through your hips. You can move through your shoulders. Any kind of movement that feels good. Let your body open up. Check in
So remember, when we're trying to be present and deal with this sense of stress and uncertainty, the sensations of the body, anchor yourself to them. Listen to what you're feeling. Stretch your arms out and your hips back, child's pose. Relax your forehead toward the floor. Breathe into the back side of your body now. Maybe your arms need to be in a different place. Trust. Listen to what your shoulders are telling you. Walk the hands over to the left side of your mat and open the right rib cage up. Feel a sense of space. Open those ribs. Relax your forehead. Relax your eyes, your chin, your jaw, your tongue, your cheeks. And then come back to center and walk the hands over to the other side, inching to the right. Deep breath here. What feels good? This warm up that, we similarly warm up every single class. Do you enjoy it? Is it something that's good for you to just stay in the body, to be in the body? And come back up. Come on to all fours. Lift the right arm up in the air. Exhale and slide that shoulder down. Enjoy a twist in your spine. Feel your breath. Notice where it goes, where it doesn't easily go. Thigh bones are moving back. All right, and then inhale, reach that arm all the way up to the sky again. Place the hand onto the ground. Second side, arm up. Exhale, slide that arm down and through. Feel the right hand press into the floor. Feel the twist. Enjoy the space between your shoulder blades. Open up the rhomboids. Shoulders move away from the ears. Thigh bones are back. Great. Then inhale, reach that arm all the way up to the sky again. Place the hands down. Dog pose. All right, so feel free to move here. You got a lot of space in your body, so use it. You can pedal your feet and stretch your calves. You can sway your knee in and lift your opposite hip. You can move any way that feels nice for your body. See if you can feel the little ways that stretch feels good. The sensation of stretch is such a unique feeling in the body. It brings us home into ourselves often. It's not just about loosening and increasing your range of motion, although that's also really great, but it's a sensation that's easy to follow. So as you feel, see if you can not back away. For instance, your calves. As you stretch your heels back toward the wall behind you and your heels down toward the floor and your sit bones up, and you get that feeling in your calves, your Achilles, your feet, stay. Try not to back away and then back in. See what it feels like to just hang out there and breathe. All right, and then let's walk our feet forward. Come into Uttanasana. Bobble the head around, wag the tail. What is your body needing? Relax the shoulders for a moment. Inhale for a halfway lift. You can hold the tops of the thighs or the shins wherever you go. Exhale and melt again. Put your hands underneath your feet, so bend your knees a lot. Palms are going to go all the way underneath your toes, so your toes make it all the way up to your wrists. And from there, start to lift the sit bones. Don't worry so much about pushing your knees back. Try to straighten-ish your legs by lifting the sit bones. Spread your toes. Lift your heart forward just a little bit. And then release that. And we're going to come into a squat here. Try to keep the heels down. So get into the Achilles a little bit more so you can lean forward a little bit. And even if your heels can't touch the floor, direct them in that direction so that you feel the stretch in the bottom of your calves, your soleus muscle, which is underneath your big, strong calf muscles. Just feel that. Round your back a little bit, tuck your chin. All right, and then come on up and walk your hands or your feet back, dog pose. Lengthen through the spine. And just notice if opening up your calves and your heels and your Achilles a little bit, did that help your feet at all? So while you're here, lift and spread the feet wide apart. Extend through the spine, find your breath. Inhale, come forward into a plank. Steady yourself. Open up the chest. The shoulder blades are away from the ears. Find your breathing. Deep inhale, deep exhale. Inner spiral the thighs, stretch the heels back and the crown forward. All right, let's go ahead and find our way to the floor. Come all the way down. Gentle cobra pose. It does not have to be a big posture. See what it feels like to open the chest up. Exhale and lower the body down. Roll the shoulders a few times so you can feel that you're moving the shoulder blades down the back. Take a breath to stabilize through your core. Inhale, rise up again. Exhale and melt back down. Push up onto all fours. Curl your toes under. Take some time on all fours if you need to sway from side to side. Release your back in any way you need. And then with your toes curled under, stretch back towards child's pose. Open up the bottom of your feet. Spread the bones of your feet apart. Find your breath. And then walk back even further. Now this might not be available for everybody, so you stay down in child's pose if it's not available. But if it is available, let's go ahead and try to sit back in Virasana with our toes curled under. So you step away from this by leaning forward, and you can even put your hands on the ground, and you come deeper into it by coming up with your torso, hands on your thighs. So just open up the bottom of the feet as much as you can. Don't let yourself be in pain. A little discomfort is different than pain. And then we're gonna come back onto all fours, smack your feet onto the floor. So tops of the feet smack down. Okay, all right, and then curl your toes under, dog pose one more time. So now your feet are probably a little sore, so just give them a little bit of time to even themselves out. And when you're ready, lift your right leg straight up in the air. Extend the spine, take a deep breath here. Are you in your practice? Are you in your body? Are you in your breath? Keep inviting yourself to go there. This is the skill we need to stay present. Bring the knee into the chest and place your foot forward into a lunge. Extend the spine. Blocks are helpful. If you have blocks, bring them close by. Extending the spine, feeling the stretch through the hip flexor of that back leg. How are your feet feeling? Extend your heart forward, your crown forward. Let's start to melt, squaring the hips, tucking the chin toward the chest, feeling the hamstring open on that front leg. Inhale and bend your knee. Exhale, head straight. Maybe you don't want to breathe that way. That's just the way I like to breathe. You can breathe any way you want to breathe as long as you are breathing. All right, let's walk your back foot forward, fold in half. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale and melt back down. Step the other foot back. Come into a lunge with your left foot forward. Extend through your spine. Let's open up the hamstrings on that back leg. Shoulders are away from the ears. Let's start moving here, squaring the hips, inner spiral the thighs. Find your breath. All right, and then coming into a lunge, bring your hands back down onto the ground. Lift that left leg up in the air. The hips are going to stay square. Engage through your glutes. Extend through your spine. Descend the heel on the floor to wherever it likes to go. 2 feet onto the ground. Inhale, come forward into a plank. Hold yourself steady. Spread out your feet. Right, lengthen through your crown. Find the breath. And then lower yourself down to the floor. Take your legs a little wider apart. Inhale, lift your chest up like cobra pose and your legs as well. Shoulders are away from the ears. Find the work in your body. Exhale and melt back down. Come up onto all fours. Move things around any kind of way you want to move things around. I won't make you do the foot torture again, so not to worry. Find the breath. And then we're going to come up to stand. Come forward into Uttanasana first. And then rise all the way up. Arms lifting to the sky. Open the chest, lean back a little bit. Feel the spreading of your arms, cactus. Exhale and round in. One more time. Open the chest.
And then exhale and relax. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Open the chest one more time and come forward, letting your shoulders open. Bobble around your head, let your neck be soft. And then release your hands down. Take your two blocks, put your hands on them. We're going to come into a half lift with our hands on our blocks. Make sure your feet are hip width apart. Root the big toe mounds, the pinky toe mounds, the inner and outer heels into the earth. Soften your knees just a bit. Lift your sit bones, stretch your heels down, extend the spine. Find a little inner spiral with your femur bones. And then relax and fold. Rise up. We're going to do a little bit, obviously, with the feet and the hamstrings today. But one of the things I just want to talk about is when you are bending forward into a forward fold, if you want the tailbone to go with the spine. So if you are tucking the tailbone and trying to go forward, you're in a tug of war where your sacrum's pulling one way and your spine's pulling the other way. You want to have your spine and your sacrum follow in the same direction. So when you come into forward bending poses, make sure you're lifting the tailbone, nutating the sacrum, anterior tilting the pelvis, and then take the femur bones way back. So come into a half lift. You can put your hands on the tops of your thighs. Press back so you can feel the heads of the femur bones root into the back of the hip joint. Lift the tailbone, widen the sit bones, and ever so slight inner spiral of the thighs. Not enough to knock your knees and turn your knees in, but just enough to feel some release. And then melt. Your knees can bend as much as you want to make this happen. This is very protective for the hamstrings to soften the knees a little bit. Halfway lift, so you come higher so your legs can straighten. Exhale and melt back down. Let's step back to a lunge again. Right foot comes forward, left foot comes back. Okay, finding the breath. We're going to shorten up our stance just a little bit so we're in Parsvottanasana and come on up to stand. Reach the arms up in the air, maybe lean back just a little bit, feel the openness across your chest. Okay, bring your hands to rest on your hips. Hips are square, you can take your right foot out to the right more. Remember, you're not in a lunge, you're in a shorter stance than a lunge. Begin to lengthen your spine forward. Press your heel down and drag it back a little bit so your hamstring that you're stretching is actually working at the same time. Extend through your spine. Lots of work in the legs. Inner spiral your thighs, engage through your core, deepen your breath, and then come back up. Walk your back foot forward, take your front foot back, warming up the hamstrings to both be able to engage and stretch at the same time. Extend through the spine, reach the arms up to the sky, maybe lean back a little bit, maybe cactus in the arms, wide arms. What do you want to do with your arms? What feels nice? And then bring your hands back onto your hips and extend forward. So it's a little bit awkward. I find it to be a little bit awkward here. You're kind of like stuck in no man's land where you're not getting to go far, where the hamstrings have to both work and stretch at the same time. So can you feel the work in your hamstring? Press your heel down and pull it back. Extend the spine. Feel some tensile strength in there as you lengthen. And then go ahead and come back up. Walk your back foot forward. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, bend your knees, arms back behind you. Inhale, rise up. Come up onto the toes. Come to spread your feet apart as much as you can. Rising up, feeling all the work through your arches. And then the heels come down, arms come back. Let's do that once more. Inhale. Come up onto your tippy toes. Your toes are together or apart, whichever feels good. Lengthen up through your spine. Notice if you have pain in your toes, so do you need to protect yourself and not do this? Exhale, heels down, arms back. Find chair pose. Lengthen through your spine. Put your weight into your heels. We're going to feel the attachments of our hamstrings now. So root into your right foot deeply and lift your left foot up off the floor. Your hamstring on your right leg is going to be working over time. So see what it feels like to feel the attachments right at your sit bones. Okay, and then go ahead and put that other foot down, switch sides. Bear weight into your left, hover your right foot up off the ground.
Your arms can be anywhere. Okay, so find your balance. Can you feel the attachment? Can you feel the hamstring on your standing leg doing a lot of work? Inhale, 2 feet down. Open your chest. Take a deep breath. Exhale and fold. Halfway lift. Lift the tailbone. Let the sacrum follow the spine. Exhale and melt back down. Step back to a lunge. Right foot is forward, left foot is back. Feel the fullness of your lunge now. So our legs are long apart instead of short apart like we just did. Rise up when you're ready to crescent lunge. Arms to the sky. Can you feel, that your hamstring works so much in so many poses. Let's feel it, okay? So push your front foot into the floor and see if you can feel your hamstring on that front leg. See what you're feeling in your hamstring in your back leg. Just get to know those sensations in your body. It's very common for a lot of people to have some slight hamstring tears over the course of their lives. So just notice if that has happened to you. What are you feeling? Exhale and release the hands down. Step back to a plank. Find the neutral pose. Sense of symmetry in the body. Shoulders are away from the ears. Find the breath. Lower yourself down to the ground. Okay, we're going to keep our legs together. Okay, put your hands under your head underneath or on top of your hands. And we're going to lift our legs up. So it's different than when we have our legs apart from each other. And just see what it feels like to engage your glutes and your hamstrings to lift your lower legs. Finding the breath. And then exhale and release back down. Pick up your feet and windshield wiper your knees. Okay, we're going to add some arms into this, so you can choose whether you want your arms up overhead or down at your sides. Either way, and we're going to do some oppositional work, some left-right hemisphere work in the body, always so good for keeping us present. Okay, so lift your right arm and left leg. Feel your hamstrings and your glutes share. Exhale and release that down. Lift the other leg. Feel your hamstring and your glutes share the work. So do you tend to overpower one or the other? Are you more dominant in your hamstrings than your glutes, or your glutes over your hamstrings? Exhale and release. Come up onto your hands and your knees. Swivel your posture around anything that makes your back feel good. Deep breath in and away. Find your way to dog pose as you're ready. How are your feet? Can you spread out the bones of your feet? Can you feel your Achilles stretch and open? Can you feel that line from the center of the bottom of your Achilles and lift it all the way up to your sit bones? Feel that, like you have those stockings on that have a line on the back of them, lift up through that line all the way to the sit bones. Soften your knees, finding your breath. Let's walk forward and come into a fold, and then rise up to stand. Okay, so pause here for a moment. Finding the breath. Shoulders are away from the ears. Deep breaths in, deep breaths away. Yield your feet into the earth. Yield your feet. See if you can drop some weight. Allow the feet to soften like you're standing on soft sand. Drop in. See if the knees can soften. Allow a sense of your breath to drop down into the body. All right, inhale. Lift your arms to the sky. Exhale and fold. Let's step the left foot back. Come to a lunge on this side. Extending the heart. Feeling the extension through your spine. Rise up to crescent lunge when you're ready. Put your arms wherever you want them to be. Can you feel your glutes on both legs and your hamstrings? So get in touch with the backs of your legs. There's so many parts of your body that you can enter into in any pose. And, really it's just guidance to be in the body. So today, maybe we're focusing on a little on your hamstrings and your glutes and your feet. But that doesn't mean you can let go of you know, you still have a torso, you still have arms, you still have a crown. So find your fullness. And then exhale and release your hands to the floor. Step back to dog pose. And we're going to lift the right leg up in the air and pulse it a few times. Keep the hips square. Find the midline with your inner thighs, inner spiral your leg in the air, and pulse it a few times. Stretch all the way to your foot. Great. Then go ahead and put that foot down onto the ground. Change sides. Three-legged dog on the other side. Square hips, inner spiral the thigh. Lift the leg. Extend through the spine. Finding your breath. Stretch all the way to the heel. Pulse a few times. Are your hamstrings or your glutes more in charge? See if they can have an equal relationship. Exhale and relax. Bend your knees a lot. And then walk your feet forward. Bend your knees a lot here. Find your breath. Inhale for a halfway lift. Grab your two blocks. Put them underneath your hands. So they can be at any height you want them to be. We're going to stand on our right foot and lift the left leg up in the air. Soften the knee a little bit. Maybe even want to bend the knee you're standing on. So if you hyperextend, you know, find where your hamstring is most full. So remember, you actually have 3 hamstring muscles. See if you can find the width of your work and the length of your work. So, you know, there are 3 different muscles. Stretch your leg in the air. Lift it. Are your glutes and hamstrings sharing that journey? Extend through your spine. Exhale and tuck your knee behind your knee and curl in that one-legged chair pose again. Inhale, press it straight, legs in the air. Exhale, squat in. All right, pause here for a moment. Maybe your hands want to come off the blocks, out to the sides or palms together. Maybe your hands stay on your blocks for balance. Hug in. See if you can use the work of your legs to do some of this instead of just relying on, you know, wonky balance on your foot. Use your legs. Extend the spine. One last time, push into some straight legs. Exhale and rest that foot down. Bend your knees a lot. Grab onto your elbows and sway. Inhale to push off your feet. Rise up, reaching the arms to the sky. Exhale and pause in Tadasana, mountain pose. Deep breaths in and away. Yield your feet. What can you do to melt your hamstrings here? They work so much, you know, our hamstrings are unsung heroes in our day for sure. So let's just enjoy some ease while we're standing. Feel the roots. You're here, planted. Close your eyes. We're in this moment. If you were to have to step into balance on a log or anything that requires your full attention, bring that here. Is your belly dropping to the pelvis? Is your pelvis dropping to your knees? Is your knees dropping to your feet? Find the down and then find the up. So feel the yielding into the earth and the rebound through the body. Can you feel the connection from your arches to your crown? All right. Inhale, lift the arms again. Exhale and fold forward. Halfway lift, the spine grows. Exhale and melt back down. Let's come into half splits here. So lifting your left leg now, or right leg now. Your left leg is on the floor. Square your hips. Soften the knee you're standing on. Use your working legs, but also use your core. Notice how you can kind of like hang that leg in the air. You can even hang into the hamstrings on your standing leg. Instead, invigorate, strengthen, extend. And then when you're ready, let's tuck in, knee behind knee. Feel the work of your core helping you. Feel the arches of your feet. Inhale, stretch the leg and crown out. Exhale, come back in. Find that one-legged chair, the feeling in your hamstrings and your glutes holding you. Push your foot into the floor. Be active. Hug your legs toward each other. Maybe your hands come off, maybe the blocks, maybe they don't. Widen across your collarbones. Keep breathing. All right, place the hands back down onto the ground. Stretch up into half splits again. And step your foot all the way back, dog pose. Take your hands on the mat, extend the spine, deepen your breath, and come forward into a plank. Stabilize through the center of your body. Deep breaths in and away. Let's lower ourselves down to the floor, finding the breath. This time we're going to take everything wide. Arms can be out or down, legs are wide. Inhale, lift everything up. Find symmetry, equal effort, glutes and hamstrings. Exhale and melt back down. Pick up your feet, your knees are hip width apart. Turn your head one side or the other and just windshield wiper your knees. Okay, let's come back to child's pose. Feel free to take some time on all fours first. Let the backs of your legs, your glutes stretch, and your hamstrings rest. Breathe deeply. Big inhale, a long, steady exhale. As you're ready, find dog pose again. Stretch those hamstrings, lift the sit bones, feel that line across the back of your leg. Widen out your sit bones like you're rolling a pie shell. So widen the sit bones. Instead of just lengthen them, widen them as well. Deep breath in and away. Right leg lifting up in the air. Exhale and bring that foot forward to a lunge. Plant your back heel down onto the ground. Rise up to Virabhadrasana 1. So the back heel is on the floor. Lift up, open the chest, feel the extension. Use your back leg, engage your glute on the back leg. Feel your front foot push into the floor so you can feel the hamstrings and the glutes on both legs. Root your feet, spread out the toes. And then exhale, and we're going to lean forward, arms coming back behind you, palms facing the ground, heads of the arm bones lifting away from the floor. Hop up onto one leg for Virabhadrasana 3. Remember, you do not have to be you don't have to be parallel to the floor. You can be here in the pose or anywhere in between. Hips are square, heads of the arm bones back, core is engaged. Feel the work of your legs. And then a big giant step back to Virabhadrasana 1, heel down, arms up if you want them to be. Open up your chest. And then exhale and release. Come back, dog pose. Enjoy. Bend your knees if you want. Okay, let's lift the left leg up in the air. Exhale and bring that foot through. Come into a Vira 1. Back heel is coming down onto the floor. You can take your left foot out to the left as much as you need to. Your hands can always stay on your hips. They don't have to come up. Feel the deep lunge. Feel the work in the back leg. Ground through your foot. The outside edge of your foot is moving deeply into the earth. Spread the bones of your feet apart. Extend your body upward. Okay, and then we're going to release the hands back. Palms are going to face the floor. Heads of the arm bones lifting away. Feel your core. Hop up. So the hamstrings are working so hard for this pose, as are your glutes. Extending the spine, lift the leg in the air wherever it is. The crown is long, the heads of the arm bones back, the core is engaged. Spread out the feet. Make sure you're still breathing. It's okay to shake and wobble. Just be where you are. And then a big giant step back. Virabhadrasana 1. Arms lifting to the sky. Open yourself up. Exhale and release. Come onto all fours and head back down to child's pose again. Relaxing your hips, relaxing your hamstrings, feeling the breath. Bring your forearms onto the mat and stretch back to a forearm plank. Feel the 360 around your core, nice and stable. Shoulders are away from the ears. Notice when you are focusing on different parts of the body, the sensations you feel, the way you're breathing. It doesn't matter what your poses look like. It's the process of going in that is so helpful to us. Okay, come down. Any back bend that you want. Feel free to find your favorite pose. Okay, and then exhale and melt back down. Come up onto all fours. We're going to come into pigeon pose. Bring your left leg forward first and your right leg back. Okay, so you can take a blanket underneath your sit bone, maybe underneath your right thigh. So just find whatever support you need for this posture. Always reverse pigeon pose is available to you if you need it. So notice, when you stretch after all the work that we just did for the glutes and hamstrings, there's a lot going on at that attachment site. There's a lot of muscles that converge. Your glutes, your gluteus maximus attaches very close, just below your hamstring attachments. So just notice what you're feeling. Can you relax the breath? Come into the body. Come into the breath. Melt the places you are tense. You can support your head if you want. Everybody's a little different in how they choose to find their way out. So don't come out just yet. Just take a couple more breaths. But if you are in pigeon pose and not in reverse pigeon pose, figure out what you want to do. Do you want to come back to dog pose and lift that leg in the air? Would you rather just swing this leg around, the back leg around? There's no right or wrong way. Just see what your body needs. As you come into the second side, you might notice that one side is very different from the other. Like on this side, I need support underneath my hip, or on the other side, I don't. So just find what you're finding. Remember, in pigeon pose, your heel can be close to your pubic bone, or your heel can pull out away from your pubic bone. If you're in reverse pigeon pose, remember to nutate the sacrum, top of the sacrum up, tailbone down, and widen the sit bones. Okay, as you find your way into a relaxed pigeon pose, decide if you need some support. So a block under your head can really help ease the tension that likes to creep into your neck and your face and your head and your shoulders. Feel the back leg. Is your thigh bone straight or turned out? So find just a teeny bit of inner spiral of your straight back leg. The sit bones widen. The foot, your front foot is a little active. Extending the spine. Melt with the breath. Can your exhales take you into surrender somewhere? Is there resistance in your body somewhere? Can you increase your tolerance for discomfort? Can you turn the sensation of discomfort into one of ease? How do you do that? Breathe to try that. Learn to stay with the breath over and over. If we're trying to cultivate resiliency and greater capacity to sit in discomfort, our breath is just truly our greatest ally. So the more we can learn to stay with the breath, the more capable we become. The breath is our barometer. If you do struggle with anxiety, the breath is one of the first cues that something's amiss. I don't know what you all do, but a lot of times when I feel anxious, I end up sighing a lot, which I think is a natural way to lengthen the exhales. All right, so to allow your body to come out, take a breath and find your way. How do you like to get out? Do you like to just swing the leg around or do dog pose? So whatever is working for you. Okay. We're going to sit cross-legged for a moment. So get up on the edge of a blanket if you want to. Just let the hamstrings rest. When your knees are bent, they're a little softer. Sit crisscross unless there's something that's preventing you from doing so. Okay. We're going to find, you can always sit on a chair if you can't sit crisscross. We're going to find a twist. Reach the right arm up in the air, bring it to the outside of the knee, and twist to the side. Drop the shoulders down, open across the collarbones and chest. Try not to push the mid-low back forward. See if you can keep neutral. How is your breath? And then come back to center. Change the cross of your legs because you always sit that way, right? And let's come to the other side. Hand behind you, arm up in the air, bring the hand to the outside of the left knee, drop the shoulders and the shoulder blades. Find your breath as you twist. And then come back to center. So I know that I've kind of made the rule that I'm not going to teach inversions while we're on Zoom to protect everybody because, you know, I really need to see what you're all doing. But if you are very comfortable with Halasana, plow pose, you can try that right now to stretch the full back line of the body. And if you're not familiar with that pose, don't try it now, okay? But one thing you can do is, you know, I'm getting on blankets because that's always how I choose to do. Oh, look, my couch is right in the perfect place for this. Okay, so you can come up. My cat is there, so I don't want to hit her. But you can come up, and if you're in Halasana, you can, literally my cat is right there. So I'm going to move my legs. But you can bring your legs up on a chair or something. If you're not familiar with that pose with Halasana, either putting your legs up on something or on the floor, you could just try, you don't even need blankets, to just bring your knees to your forehead and hold your back a little bit. Let the back body round. We'll be here for a moment. We are going to stretch the hamstrings a little bit more, but just first feel what it feels like to let the back body stretch. Full Halasana, I'd have to turn around. You bring your feet to the floor, okay, which is another choice. I don't have blankets underneath me, so I'm not going to do that. All right, and then go ahead and relax that and grab your strap. Hopefully you have a strap. We're going to wrap the strap around our feet and stretch your hamstrings at the same time. Okay, so lengthen through your spine. Allow your shoulders to relax. See what it feels like to move the heads of the femur bones as if you had hands to push into your thigh bones into again like we did in the beginning. Flex your feet. Lift your heels. Stretch the bottom of your feet. Let the bones of your feet expand. Take the left foot out of the strap and either put your left foot on the floor or lengthen it, the whole leg on the ground. Finding the breath. And then we're going to open up the right leg out to the right. The left foot can be on the floor or the left leg can be straight on the ground. However your body says is best for you. Feeling the inner hamstring stretch and lengthen a little bit.
And then reach that leg up. We're going to cross the right leg over the left and stretch the outside of your leg. Move your femur bone away from the shoulders, extending through your spine. Deepen your breath here. And come back out of there. Left foot now into the strap. Right leg is on the floor or right foot is on the floor. If your hamstrings are tight, try putting your right foot on the floor instead of stretching your right leg straight on the ground. This will neutralize the pelvis a lot, so you have a little bit more range of motion for the hamstring on that left leg. Extending the spine, stretch up through your foot and down through your hip. And then as you're ready, we're going to open the left leg out to the side, feeling the length of your spine. Stay grounded through the right side of your body. Make sure you're still moving. Make sure you're still breathing. By moving, I mean moving into the earth. So the right side of the body is moving down. Make sure you're still breathing. And then inhale and lift that leg. Cross the leg over the body. Taking a little twist here, femur bone away from crown. Deep breaths. And then let's go ahead and come out of there. Bring your knees into your chest. Rock like we did in the very beginning. Full side rocking. As we come into Shavasana, let's gather up some props. So if you happen to have like 2 blocks and a blanket, you can put the blocks lengthwise against each other and then a blanket on top. Or if you happen to have more, however you want to prop, but try to get your legs supported so that your hamstrings can be a little softer. So whatever props you have to put underneath your knees, let's make a little bolster for yourself. And then find your way to rest. So as you melt, you might feel fatigue in your hamstrings. So just see what you can do to let them relax as much as possible. Melt the heaviness of your limbs. Find your breath in and your breath away. Relax your face. Relax the base of your skull. Melt your jaw. Find yourself resting in this moment. Enjoy being in your body at rest.
Let's begin to deepen our breathing again. Deep inhale and exhale. Melt your body one more time. Feel how nice it is to be inside a resting body and a restful breath. Let's start to move. You can stretch and lengthen and breathe however you like to transition from Shavasana. As you find your way onto your side, be gentle with yourself as you push yourself up. Feel the earth yield into it as you push off of it. And come to a comfortable seat. Bring your palms together at your heart. Take a moment to just feel your groundedness, your centeredness. Release your diaphragm and take a deep breath. Has your practice helped to cultivate a little bit more resiliency, capacity to be steady through uncertainty? And if yes, just offer some of this energy outward. Share your energy with someone you know who's struggling. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.